Welcome back, YouTube. Finishing up my album anniversary dive into 1970s 1970s Paranoid with the song Fairies Wear Boots, live in Paris. The album was released September 18th, 53 years ago today. Recorded 4 months after their debut album, released 9 months after the debut album. 8 months, released 8 months after their first record. So they put out two monumentally groundbreaking albums in the space of 9 months. That's just fantastic. Like, who does that these days? You know, it just does not happen. Again, the album that broke them, the album that made them worldwide stars. And this song, man, such a great song. There's so much going on, so many changes. Sabbath was really good at amalgamating a bunch of different riffs into one coherent piece of music. On the album, if you look at the album credits, it actually says Jack the Stripper, Fairies Wear Boots. And they would often do that on their albums just to kind of make it look like you were getting more songs. So, like War Pigs says, War Pigs, Luke's Wall. So the end of War Pigs is actually called Luke's Wall. And this Fairies Wear Boots, the opening of Fairies Wear Boots, is apparently Jack the Stripper. So, always exciting to watch this stuff, man. Again, the same concert. We've done a couple videos from this show right now already, but let's dive in right now to Fairies Wear Boots, live in Paris, 1970. The almighty, all-encompassing, all-influential Black Sabbath. Let's hit it.
Touch the number now called Fairies Wear Boots, and I'm gonna play a new album.
So good. So this part would be Jack the Stripper, and then when they change, it's Fairies Wear Boots. Look at that little club, just simple lighting, tiny stage. Like the way Bill, watch this again, Bill Ward's lift his left foot off the hi-hat. He lifts his leg up when he plays a big fill, right? To kind of give him a little extra oomph or whatever. Check that out. Kind of quirky. There. Cool, Phil. So now this is Fairies Wear Boots proper. Again, good dynamics. A little bit of vocal fry there from Ozzy. Let's check that out. When he goes late last, a little bit of distortion that he pushes. Again there too. Just want to stop here for a second to point out a personal preference with Black Sabbath. Their old stuff speaks to me a lot more than the stuff that they started doing with Ronnie James Dio, although I love the album Heaven and Hell. It's fantastic. But from then forward, after Heaven and Hell, it's almost like they were trying too hard to be heavy. Does that make sense? It was more straightforward. The lyrics started to get a little bit kind of trite and cliched and a bit kind of jokey and stuff. I don't know, like a lot of puns, cross purposes, like whatever, right? Whereas Old Sabbath swung more than it rocked. There's a lot of swing in this, a lot of funk, a lot of that kind of groove, right? There's a lot of different stuff going on here. More dynamic. The lyrics were, Geezer just was writing incredible stuff. This song is actually a story about an incident. People think that it might be like about a drug trip, them seeing fairies or something, right? It's actually about a night that something about a group of skinheads, which if you don't know what skinheads are, they're kind of like violent punks who shave their head, neo-Nazis they can be and stuff like that too, right? And something about them running into getting an altercation with a group of skinheads. That's what this song is actually about. So anyways, let's back this up a little bit and keep going. See him dragging his stick on the snare. Tony with his guitar strings not clipped off. I believe you, Ozzy. I believe you've seen a lot of stuff, buddy. Like it's heavy, but it's got funk and groove. Like, tell me that's not funk. Going back into Jack the Stripper here, I was talking about Geezer Butler's lyrics a few minutes ago. A couple interesting bits of trivia about Geezer is that he's vegan, and he has been for a long time. Props to that. I'm vegan. It doesn't matter, who cares. But the other thing is that Geezer Butler, believe it or not, never uses profanity. The bass player for Black Sabbath never uses profanity in his speech, in his life, right? That's pretty crazy. Like, you wouldn't think that of him, right? But he's like a very kind of genteel guy, very interesting. By the way, they all have solo stuff. Obviously, Ozzy's, one of the hugest solo guys out there. Tony put out a couple of albums, but Geezer put out, he's had a couple projects, Geezr, pronounced Geezer, and what the heck's the name of his other project? I think he has two other projects. I can't remember them right now though, but I remember hearing Plastic Planet, which was pretty cool. So yeah, and as I mentioned in another video, Bill Ward has several solo albums, like 4 solo albums or something, as well as he produces really cool artwork, digital art. Check out their websites, because these guys, as well as being in Black Sabbath, have whole other creative outlets that they're engaged with, right? It's very cool. Very interesting, artistic, intelligent, wonderful guys. Not that I've met them, but, they don't just do Black Sabbath and party or whatever. They've got a lot of stuff going on in their lives that's well worth diving into. It's very cool that they've done that. So anyways, let's continue this. Nice. I've said it before, gotta love that shirt. If anyone has a line on where I can score one of those shirts, let me know. Ozzy's lyrics have been pretty good this song. Not too many changes. Yeah, his voice is pretty good, you know. He was really coming into his own as a singer around this time. All that touring really strengthened everything, you know, the muscles in the vocal, around the vocal cords and stuff. His pitch is much better than the first Step record. He's a little off sometimes. Interesting to see Tony where he plays that. I always played that up quite high.
Thank you very much. It's all from Black Sabbath. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Just stellar, classic, vintage Black Sabbath in their prime, man. Wow. Can't beat that. And then they would go on to record the immeasurably heavy Master of Reality, which to my thinking is the heaviest album that's ever been released. And I will get to that at some point, probably on its anniversary. So hope you enjoyed that. That's 3 songs off of the second album by Black Sabbath, Paranoid. Album anniversary day, as I've mentioned, September 18th, 1970. Really great sounding album, so influential, and always a pleasure to revisit that. I've listened to Black Sabbath since the first time I heard them. I would have been about 10 or 11 years old. It would have been around 1974 or 1975. And I was at my best friend's house, and he had an older brother who had a large record collection. And so we used to pull stuff out of his record collection. And what's this sound like, right? And we pulled out Master of Reality, having no idea, and we put it on. And it was like, oh, wow. It was just like incredible. So I've been listening to them for almost 50 years. Almost 50 years. Black Sabbath has been a part of my life. And I listen to them regularly. And you should too. I'm sure you do. But thanks for sitting down for a while and checking out some really prime Black Sabbath. Real pleasure listening to that. So I hope you enjoyed it as well. Peace out. My name is Gary. This has Become the Music, and I hope to see you again. Have a wonderful evening.